I'm going to ask Representative Shaw if he'll open us with prayer. Let's bow our heads, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you once again this morning just asking you to continue to guide us in grace. And give us your grace and your mercy and allow us to do the things that are pleasing to you. Continue to be with us throughout the day. And these things we ask in your heavenly name. Amen. Thank you, sir. Got 3 bills on the calendar today. All 3 passed subcommittee yesterday. And we will start off in numerical order with Senate Bill 140. Senator Murphy.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Morning.
I'll be glad to present this bill after I kind of wake up here. It's a little early for us.
You mean senators don't get started at 8 o'clock?
Well, we have to get up, get going, get started, you know.
Oh, okay, I
It takes us a
understand.
while to get going here.
I was talking to Senator Golden the other day, and he said he's not a morning person. So
Well, I think we're all that way.
I mean, you may not be afternoon either. So
Today is this is Senate Bill 140 I bring to you, and really what this bill does is, since it's similar to insurance, straight insurance bill, in the code section right now, 337-6 code section, they've allowed repair of windshields in that code section, but the dealers now they're wanting to offer extended warranties, which makes it a good pro-business bill and a good consumer bill. It allows them to offer an extended warranty for the repair of carpet, your carpet, your upholstery, your bumpers, scratch and dent, things like that, with an extended warranty. So it gives the consumer an opportunity to purchase that for their vehicle and gives the businesses a opportunity to sell it. So I think it's a good bill, and the reason it has to be brought forth like this is to add it into the code section.
okay. Any questions from anyone? Okay, 25. Identify yourself.
Eddie Lumsden, District 12. This is for an extended warranty that the individual who is purchasing the vehicle can purchase. This is not something that is included in a standard auto policy. This is additional coverage that they have the option to purchase.
Right, they have an option. That's exactly right, Representative. They, right now when you go to buy a set of tires, you can, they'll give you road hazard warranties and stuff like that. And this is similar. It operates exactly the same way as that does.
Any other questions? Okay, I guess it's time for a motion. We'll hear a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I think I have asked the esteemed Representative Maxwell to carry this bill for us over in the House side.
Oh, that is trouble.
Should I have not done that? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
He'll do you a good job. Just remember to run by rules.
Okay.
Mr. Meadows and I are two of a kind. We've both become grumpy old men.
I'll be there begging.
Okay. Senator. Yes, sir. Now, for those of you who were not here yesterday, this is the Senator's first year, first bill. So we will start with Senate Bill 234.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. And it is quite a little drive from Jackson, Georgia, early in the morning, but I appreciate y'all seeing us so early this morning. So I bring you Senate Bill 234, and it is authorizing the insurance commissioner to issue limited lines travel insurance producer license. And there's been no real clarity in the marketplace as far as as far as the travel agents are concerned, and this is a bill that the Travel Association, U.S. Travel Insurance Association, has been pushing the last few years to try to get consistency around the country with every state. And all they're asking for is that under a licensed producer that they can have other people under them to be limited licensed as well, as long as they provide the proper information, brochures at the travel agency, and so that everybody's under the understanding that they are just a travel agent. They're just selling travel insurance to the consumer. It's a bill that is endorsed by the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, the American Society of Travel Agents, and it is legislation that's 4 of the states have already passed, and that and then hopefully Georgia will be included in that, and then 20 other states have legislation that is similar to it. So I hope I can have y'all's favorable consideration with this bill.
Okay, number 12.
Representative Atwood, Mr. Chairman, Senator, this is really more of a warranty, isn't it? Vice an insurance policy simply warranting that they'll folks be able to.
No, sir. No, sir. It's not. This is actually allowing travel agents to sell, the travel insurance upon, if they would like to.
No, I realize that, and what I'm saying is it is not something that a normal insurance person. It's a very simple thing, simply trying to protect a citizen if they're traveling and that.
Yes,
sort
sir.
of thing.
That's correct.
I think I'm convinced by the brilliance of my own argument, Mr. Chairman. Yeah. It's a good bill.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Number 19.
That's me, Mr. Chairman, Representative Maxwell out of Paulding County, and I had a chance to meet the good senator yesterday afternoon and chat a while. I believe you got an insurance background. Is that correct? And,
yes, sir, I do.
We talked a bit. Now, so do they have to be, these people that are having the license now, are they already having to be licensed through the Department of Insurance, or is there any fee or anything they have to pay yet on
well,
this?
that's what they're trying to avoid. We're going to have they're going to be under a producer's license, but they just want to be under that producer's license. It's going to be up to that producer to keep all the fees and the insurance license current, as well as provide the people who will be having the limited license with the appropriate documentation to show who the first responders will be on a policy.
I know we have licenses and we have sub-producer license, I
yes,
think.
sir. Similar to that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think our people have to have, the sub-producers have to pay a licensure fee through the department. These people will not. They'll just be under the I guess, limited license. So they will not be registered or have any fees or anything then.
They will have to be registered with the producer, and then the commissioner does have the right to make sure that they're being properly trained with the one particular line item that they will have to sell.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner, I've got a question for you. Isn't this similar to the legislation we passed last year before, so as it related to
Cell phones.
Yes.
Self-storage buildings and cell
storage
phones.
buildings? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And car agency, rental car.
Right.
Every attendant doesn't have to be a license. They're under a master license.
Right. Okay. Number 11.
My question, this is Bruce Williamson, Walton County, District 115. My question, Senator, is kind of for the Insurance Commissioner's Department as well. If you don't mind, Mr. Commissioner, out of curiosity, does this fall under the property and casualty jurisdiction or the life and sickness jurisdiction? How do you administratively define this type of coverage now?
Hey, Commissioner, we need to get you to a microphone, so since we're on camera, and y'all can just share up front there.
And I like the bill. I'm just my question is, how do you internally define this as property and casualty or life and health? Because it sure is a blend.
It would be a blend. This is a travel agent would sell you the policy that in case something happens that you can't go on your trip, or while you're on the trip something happens. I would say it would be in property casualty is where I would say, and the senator agrees with.
That's just a general question. Again, I like the bill administratively, but the convenience of the customer and everything else. But it does appear to me as be a hybrid product, because you got everything from coverage of your physical property to sickness to emergency evacuation. So it's a great product. It's a great consumer-friendly product. I like the way administratively this makes it simpler to distribute the product. That was just a general housekeeping question.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I guess it's time for a motion. Number 19.
Mr. Chairman, I move to pass.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All righty. We got finished with number 1. We got
Rogers.
Carl Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
We need to get some questions for Carl.
Yeah. Okay, I think the commissioner wants to sit next to the senator on this bill too. He has some interest in this bill. We talked about it yesterday at the Mandate Study Commission, and because it's going to impact that, and so it's we'll let the senator make his presentation, and then we'll open it up for questions.
This the next bill is Senate Bill 236, and it is a department bill. Obviously, that's why I'm honored to have the good commissioner here with me today. But this is pertaining to the implementation of the Affordable Care Act that we all know is the law of the land that is coming down the pipe here, and that our Department of Insurance wanted in trying to be transparent and clear on exactly what the landscape is going to look like with the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. We are asking the insurance companies to provide us with the exact percentage on increases for both individual and group policies. We're asking them. The insurance companies are already providing when they're already sending you information on when your policy is going to increase in premium. We're asking them to provide exactly the percentage that is being caused by the mandate that the federal government is pushing down on us. So we think it's a good bill. We think it's a consumer-friendly bill. We think that we're being very transparent for the citizens of Georgia, and we hope to have your favorable consideration with this.
Okay, so let me be sure we got this right. You've got this increase in premium, and there'll be an attachment to it that says this is what the normal increase would have been, but any addition to that would have been caused by the Affordable Care Act. Am I saying that right?
No, what we're asking is to show the insurance companies just have a line item right there to show exactly what the effect of the Affordable Care Act is going to do to our insurance premiums.
So that part of the increase.
Well, the point I was trying to make is this is not going to be a new thing for them to be sending out this information. They're already sending us information. We're just trying to show exactly what the Affordable Care Act is going to do to our insurance premiums.
Number 17.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Carolyn Hughley, House District 136. In your deliberations in the Senate, did the companies tell you that they can distinguish which part of the increase is due to the Affordable Care Act as opposed to inflation and other factors in the marketplace without difficulty?
Well, the commissioner, if you don't mind, I'll let you answer this because he had direct conversation with the insurance carriers.
This was, as the senator said, this was the idea, an idea that came out of the department, Representative. The reason we did that is because I've had two major carriers here in the state of Georgia. It now was 2 weeks ago, came in, sat down in our office, and they said, let me show you what we're anticipating premiums to be on individual health policies, and then they also showed us on small group. On the individual policies, one of them said that the premium was going to increase 114%. It's going to over double the premium for an individual policy. The other one said the premium was going to increase 145%. Both of them attributed those increases to several aspects of the Affordable Care Act. The major thing that they said was just bottom line causing it to double was the fact that all pre-existing conditions were going to have to be covered. And they said that's going to double the cost of an individual policy. Now, it didn't have that much effect on a small group because, as you know, pre-existing conditions are already covered in group insurance. But they said on the individual market that alone was going to increase it. Other things that were going to increase is that there's no ability to underwrite based on sex. On the younger population, to cover a female from a pure legitimate statistical basis, it's more expensive to cover a female than it is a male. And so, but the Affordable Care Act takes any gender consideration out of it. The other thing that's causing it to increase so much is the variation between a cost of a policy based on age band is now the maximum is 3 to 1. So you can only charge 3 times more for the older population you're covering, which is more expensive than you do for the younger population, the young invincible group that we call it. So they instead of reducing the price of the older population, they're going to increase the price of the younger population, because today in age band rating you can have as much as a 7 to 1 variable. That it's the younger group is only 1/7 of what you cost for the older group, but now it can only be a 3 to 1 variation. So this is causing the younger group to have what they call rate shock. I mean, it's going to come out and they're going to be stunned at what it costs them for their insurance. So with all these factors playing into it, and there are other factors that are going to go in, excuse me, but with these factors, what I am requesting is, and Senator Jones here is carrying this bill, is that on each bill that goes out on January 1st, when the Affordable Care Act comes into effect, it doesn't have to be on the bill. If they want to put it on the bill, they can put it on the bill. And we've met with the insurance companies, the representatives of them, and they've all agreed to this. It would just be an attachment with the amendment that is taking place, and it's going to be this committee substitute. It would just be an attachment with the premium notice saying that up to or between a percentage, whatever the smallest percentage that the company determines is attributable to the Affordable Care Act, to the maximum increase. Say it's anywhere from, your bill is increased anywhere from 80 to 145%, this one company says it's going to increase. And these cost increases are directly attributable to the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. Another thing that we've said here is that they also are in this notice, they are to include a statement saying that these increases in no way are attributed to the General Assembly or to the Georgia Department of Insurance. I don't want people blaming y'all for these increases, and I don't want people blaming us for this increase. It is strictly, it lays at the foot of the Affordable Care Act, and I want the citizens of the state of Georgia to understand why their health insurance is going up. And so that's the genesis of this bill.
A second question, if you don't mind. Is your department going to verify that whatever the companies are putting on these statements are indeed accurate?
Yes, they're going to, that they have to actuarially prove. They're going to have, these are all new policies.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they're new policies is because now these policies are going to have to conform to the essential health benefit list.
Right, so you're going to be comparing apples to oranges in a sense.
Right, but they're going to have to, when they submit their price, we don't have any control. This is, as you well know, in health policies, they're file and use. They tell us what they're going to do, and then they immediately put them into effect, and these are the prices that go into effect. On these new policies, they can give this 145% premium for essentially. And that's not the same policy because now pre-existing conditions, are there and other things. But that they just tell us what that price is. Now, when we study that and we see that they're actuarially inaccurate, that they've inflated this price too much, and we have actuary on staff that will study these submissions, and if we determine they're excessive, then we can make them rescind them. But if they're actuarially sound, they charge what they, what it costs them to provide this coverage.
So let me make sure I understand. You're saying that we're requiring them to put this statement on here, and if they're overstating what part of their premium is attributable to the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, then you're going to do something about it? Is that?
Yes, we'd make them back it down. I mean, that's our job is to protect the consumers of the state of Georgia. But our job is not to put the insurance companies out of business and say that you cannot charge what is actuarially sound, and you understand that as well as anyone. And so if they show us that it's actuarially sound, this price increase, then that's what they're going to charge.
I'm just surprised, and this is just a statement, I'm just surprised that we're putting an additional mandate on companies to go through the gyrations of figuring this part, what percentage out, and put it on the bill.
Well, it's not on the bill, it's an attachment with the bill. And what we're going to do is we're going to devise in the department the wording, and it's going to have blanks in it. And it's going to have a blank for the company's name, and then it's going to have blank for that your premium is, and this is not the exact wording, but something to the essence of your premium is increasing for health insurance anywhere from X% to X%, and each company is going to have to determine that. I've had two different companies, and they've told me two different figures, so they'll fill in the blank there, and then it's just going to say that that this is attributable to the Affordable Care Act. It is not attributed to any action of the Georgia General Assembly or the Georgia Department of Insurance.
Mr. Chairman, indulge me one final question, and that is, why would you not design your statement to reflect that this is the effect of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, because at some point in the future it might go down. So you're not giving them the opportunity to tell me if at some point it goes down. You're not giving them the opportunity to tell me that I've gotten a decrease because of that.
Well,
we're automatically assuming that it's only going to increase and increase permanently.
Well, and hopefully that is the case. I don't see it that way. The insurance companies that I've talked to don't see it that way. But this bill also has, this requirement has a sunset of December 31st, 2014. So they're only going to have to do it one time. After that, hopefully competition can drive the prices down. But as of January 1st of 2014, when the new prices, the people are going to be stunned when they see what the premium is for coverage. Now, granted, it's going to be a little more coverage because pre-existing conditions are going to be covered, and all of this. But it's going to really, like a male, age 21-year-old male, they're saying that his coverage, which has been like $75 a month, is now going to be $200 a month.
But conversely, Mr. Commissioner, the older person who had been paying more, based on what you're saying, there should be less.
No, it's not. They're not going to reduce. From what they've told us, they're not going to reduce it.
Thank you.
Number 18.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioner, Senator Jones. Good morning. As a follow-up, this will be mandatory of all health insurance providers? They have the option of adding this statement, or it's mandatory of each that is doing business in Georgia?
It's not going to be optional. It is going to be mandatory for 1 year to include an attachment with their premium notice.
Okay, so it doesn't make any difference what percentage of increase they might encounter?
Well, that's what they're going to state is up, between X and Y percentages are attributable, increase are attributable to the Affordable Care Act.
Okay. Thank you.
Number 20.
Mr. Commissioner, and members of the committee, 2 years ago I left the Senate and went into a individual pool, and I can tell you, you'll be surprised at how much insurance rates have gone up. Floored me. So do you see this as more of a transparency and accountability type of move by your department for the public?
Thank you, Representative. Exactly. My job, I'm not only the insurance commissioner, I'm the industrial loan commissioner, and I'm the safety fire commissioner. In all three of those positions, my job is to protect the consumer in the state of Georgia.
Right.
And part of protection is to explain to them what's happening and why. And so that's the reason that this is exactly transparency. And like I said before, I don't want them blaming y'all, and I don't want them blaming us.
Well, I assume that you've already been getting calls about increased insurance like I've seen personally. So I think this would be a move to, at least for the next round, when they see them jump up again like I did a year ago, at least your people will be able to answer them and answer their questions.
And I agree with you.
And probably keep them from looking at going from policy to policy, because we shopped very hard. It took us weeks without having insurance coverage.
Portions of the Affordable Care Act have already gone into effect, like children up to age 26, they own their parents' policies, or
right.
They remove the lifetime limit, the cap on lifetime limits. These things, and you're exactly right. The premiums have already gone up to take these into effect, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Is the way I look at it. The insurance companies, both these two companies that have come in, have told me that just the fact that you have to include pre-existing conditions in these individual policies that's going to be attributed to at least a doubling of the premium.
Doubling?
Doubling.
I went to $1,200.
Yours is $1,200?
Well, it was till I got back on the estate. Yeah.
Well, then
Two healthy adults. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, number 12.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Atwood, I just want to be real clear. Your department will be verifying the accuracy of what the individual insurance carriers are telling the people as far as the rate increase and what it's attributable to. Okay.
Let me answer that for you. Yes, we have a division that we call the Division of Insurance Product Review, and it's their responsibility to make sure that these rates are actuarially sound. Not only are they not excessive, we need one of the things we have to determine in all lines of insurance is, are they charging enough to remain solvent? Are they going to be able to cover their claims? Because that's that's one of our responsibilities, to protect the consumer by making sure that the insurance company remains solvent.
One follow-up question, if I may. Is there currently a requirement, not that I've ever seen it in my lifetime, to notify the consumer when rates go down? Is there currently a requirement in the law?
No, it's just no.
So it's not unusual with this particular bill not to require that also?
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, number 27.
Senator and Mr. Commissioner, thank you very much for bringing this bill, and I guess I'm following up on what Mr. Atwood said. When rates go up, folks call wanting to know why their rates are going up. Folks aren't generally going to call wondering why their rates are going down. So, that sort of gets over into the arena where politicians can claim credit. So if the Affordable Care Act reduces rates, then I'm sure there'll be people lined up around the block to take credit for that, and no real need for the insurance companies to notify folks of that, will they? Thanks, sir.
I agree with you.
Okay, 21. Senator, Commissioner, Representative Shaw, don't we already do something similar to this on like property and casualty lines? If it increases a certain amount, that we have to send something to just explain to the policyholder or the consumer that that their premiums are going up?
Yeah, I mean, we currently do it now.
We're requiring the insurance carriers to do that.
We currently do it now, and in the property casualty business, we go line by line exactly what your cost is for property, for liability, for auto, workman's comp, and it spells it out in the policy. So
right.
So it's something that's pretty common.
So when you, if I don't mind me asking you one more question, so with something like this major and this big of a change in the industry, wouldn't you think that that there obviously would be tons of questions being fired at the Department of Insurance? Absolutely. As far as phone calls, just absolutely probably could be inundated with these phone calls. So therefore, this might be a way to further explain this to to prevent some of those calls. So that therefore would obviously maybe save us a little tax money.
Yep, absolutely.
We might ought to consider adding another line on there and says if if you have questions, call your U.S. congressman or your U.S. senator.
That sounds good to me. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I guess it's time for a motion. Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay, all opposed, raise your right hand. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it.
Who's carrying the bill?
Who's carrying the bill?
Alex Atwood.
Okay, just be sure you go by rules and get your paperwork filled out.
Okay, I appreciate it, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Y'all have
you.
a good day, and meeting adjourned.
All right, thank you.